We're getting into our final conversation for the Situation Room this Thursday. And joining us in the Situation Room, in the hot seat, is CLEOPHAS Malalaah, playwright and former Secretary General of UDA. And he's not shy to be here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Are you?
Yeah.
We spoke to you on the phone a couple of weeks ago. And, there was a bit of, brouhaha. But we'll look at details of that and questions that we're asking ourselves this morning, and for you to come and crack this open for us. But before we do that, CT normally shares a proverb. CT, as you can see, is not here.
Yeah.
Mark is here and he'll share that proverb from Mozambique, and then we'll look for your interpretation of the same. Sawa?
Yes.
Brilliant. All right.
Yes, temporary CT speaking. Whether the knife falls on the melon or the melon falls on the knife, the melon suffers.
To me, this is a situation whereby there are two characters in life, and it is inevitable on who is on what side. The output of their interaction is the same.
Yes.
Like we have a superior character, and it doesn't matter where that superior character stands. The other character will fall victim. That is it.
Newly minted playwright.
I love it.
You're saying newly minted. He has been in this game for quite a while.
I know. For many Kenyans, it's newly minted.
Well,
it's Shakespeare of the day.
It's a great interpretation.
Okay.
Just looking at it and saying, it depends. On which side do you sit? And we are looking at the issues this morning of politics versus freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And of course, this is all we can't ignore. We can try and be melodramatic, but we can't ignore it. That you did essentially pen a play. You did. It's not the first one that you have done. It's not the first time that you've been in this arena. You're teaching. You've taught people. There are many people who have come under your tutelage, right? We know this. But for some reason, this particular piece that you worked on brought a lot of drama, didn't it? At the National Drama Festivals, which, that's interesting that we call them the National Drama Festival, because then it set the stage for yet another national drama that had been in place for 63 years. This was the 63rd edition, so it's not the first time that we've had. And we also know that art, in its true form, is a way of expression of certain things, whether it's drama, whether it's actual painting, whether it's singing, whatever it is. But for some reason around this time, whatever message was going to be disallowed from being put on the national stage. From your point of view as the one who penned this, why?
First of all, I want to say that it was quite unfortunate for the unfoldings that came out in the just concluded drama festival. I think somebody somewhere was very intentional to bring down this production, and not because of the content, but because of the person behind the production. Because I have circulated the script of the production in all social media platforms, and when you keenly read through the text, you will not find any offensive or any insinuation that offends or interferes with the tranquility of the country. And therefore, I felt very disappointed that the authority or the current administration would be that petty to interfere with school drama festivals. I feel sorry for the girls who had put in a lot of effort to come up with that production, and they were not given an opportunity to perform. I feel that their rights were infringed, and somebody must be accountable. That is why we are still in court. We are still advancing or ensuring that those girls' rights are not infringed in future, and no any other child will go through what those girls went through. You saw young girls wanting just to perform a piece of art, being tear gassed. Why use excessive force on innocent girls, school-going girls. There were better ways to do that. And the most unfortunate thing is the strategic and intentional steps the officials took when they were presenting the girls on stage. You saw girls being presented on stage at gunpoint. How traumatizing is that? You saw the girls being taken on stage and forced to perform without their stage properties, without sound effects, without electricity, at 6:30 in the morning. To me, I felt that was inhuman of the officials. And just to remind them that they are also parents. Would you feel good for when your own child undergoes such a traumatizing situation? And therefore, I want to say that we are focused to ensure that the truth comes out and the people who are behind that heinous act are accountable.
Cleophas, one would want to ask the question, when it comes to the presentation of these plays, it starts from the basic level, which would be, say, the regional levels, then you scale it up to the county, then you get to the national. And you have been accused of presenting a different play as opposed to that which started the entire process. Is that the case? And if that's not the case, who is lying and why would they be lying?
That is absolutely wrong, because that play was presented at the sub-county. We always start at the sub-county level, and it was adjudicated by 3 adjudicators at the sub-county. It was well ranked. It was position 1 with 79 marks. We proceeded to the county where we were position 1, again, with 89%. Later on, we proceeded to the regionals. We were ranked 3rd at 90%. And immediately we finished the regionals. When we were proceeding to the nationals, that is when we were told that the girls cannot proceed because the play is not in good form to be presented at the nationals. So I wondered, who is this that is making the decision of disqualifying a play, yet the professionals, the adjudicators who were sent by the same Ministry of Education gave it a green light. And when we went to court, when you look at the affidavit, the regional director of education, Western Region, Mr. Obiero, presented in court, the affidavit was very clear that Butere Girls has not been banned, that Butere Girls did not qualify. So the documents before court are denying the fact that Butere Girls was banned. And therefore, I want to know and those are the questions that we were asking. Who is this that disqualified Butere Girls? No, we have no face behind the disqualification. Nobody is coming out and saying that, yes, Butere Girls was disqualified. You saw the cabinet secretary speaking from both sides of his mouth. Today saying that, okay, Butere was not supposed to perform because Malala is not a teacher. Or tomorrow saying, no, Malala is not allowed to do plays. There is nobody authoritatively coming out and saying that, yes, I am the one behind the banning of this play. And therefore, that is what we are trying to mine and expose. And I want to assure you that the person who was behind this will eventually come out to light.
You know, my question always is, what is the genesis of this? And I'm stuck between 2 points, and perhaps you can clarify for me. Is the problem Malala and him writing a play that goes to the nationals? Or is the problem the play that was not a problem at the county level and under levels, but was a problem on the national level? Or number 3, is there a desire that you should actually just keep quiet?
Why should I keep quiet?
No, I'm asking, is that the desire?
I think
it's a question.
I think the current establishment is just paranoid. There are people who know their past and who are paranoid of the truth. And therefore, anything that has got an iota or anything that has got some speck of truth scares them.
Okay.
And I would like to urge them to appreciate that theatre is a mirror of the society. That theatre is a tool to communicate what exactly is happening in our current society. And we shouldn't be paranoid to an extent that you deny schoolgirls an opportunity to express what they're doing. I saw so many items at the Drama National Festivals expressing what is currently happening in the country.
Okay.
And people had no problem with that. But I don't know why, when it comes to CLEOPHAS Malala,
And that's my question.
I think they think, since I was in this same establishment, I know a lot. And they're just paranoid of me.
Okay.
Do you know a lot, and why are you using this play to settle political scores?
Read the play. The play is just an ordinary artistic piece. I have said that since I was denied a chance to present the play at the Kenya National School Drama Festival, I will have a chance now, using an adult cast, to present it in public. So we have already unveiled our auditions, which started yesterday, and they'll be ending on 5th May. I am getting a competent, talented cast that is going to enact that play in public. We are getting a very good venue, and we will be inviting Kenyans to watch. To watch not only for entertainment, but to watch their country, how their country is.
So, Malala, many people said that if there were a score that you were trying to settle, that you shouldn't have done that using children. And that at the end of the day, the children are the ones who were tear-gassed. The children are the ones who then suffered and lost an opportunity to then showcase on the national stage. As far as the president saying that you shouldn't settle scores or use children in this manner. He did. He came out and said that. What are your thoughts about that?
I was not settling any scores with anybody because this is not the first play I was doing.
Yeah.
I have said it time and again that I started conceptualizing this play when I was still the Secretary General of UDA. Because the happenings, when you look at the thematic concerns of the play, they basically expose the ever-widening gap between the young generation and the older generation. That is not a political theme. That's a socio-political theme, because when you microscopically dissect the play, you will realize that the play addresses issues, conflicts between the Gen Zs and their religious leaders, the Gen Zs and their parents, the Gen Zs and the general society, and to some small aspects, the Gen Zs and the leadership. So I don't know why the leadership is so concerned, yet we are addressing a wide thematic concern.
If it was not Malala who wrote this play, do you think that it would have been allowed to be showcased?
Oh yes. And you see, that is evident from the happenings, because why did the professionals in charge of drama give it a green light? And then somebody somewhere who has got no theatre background, who has got no literature background, thinks that that play is not supposed to be performed. We had 9 adjudicators appointed by the Ministry of Education, giving it a green light. So I think it was them trying to settle political scores with me.
What did you do?
Let me to just piggyback on what did you do. Do you think perhaps the lack of clarity as to what you're politically going to do, and I'll give you context. Rigathi Gachagua left. He's removing receipts every day. You know, Lintuli the other day, receipts. Who else? Who's this guy? JB Muturi, receipts. Do you think the fact that they don't exactly know what you're doing politically, that they took this play as your first salvo in this particular political dimensions?
Not really. I've got so many other platforms to do whatever you're saying. And nobody can silence us. This is Kenya. We have a constitution that governs our country, and nobody can silence us. And I want to say categorically, if I have something to let Kenyans know, I will definitely do that. After this show, I have got something that I want Kenyans to know. I am going to expose it.
You don't want to give us the scoop?
No. After this show, immediately after this show, in the precincts of this media house,
Yes.
I am going to release something that Kenyans must know, and they should know, and nobody can stop me from doing that. And therefore, they should not disadvantage the young girls, the young talents, at the expense of wanting to punish Malala. Before I became a politician, I was a playwright.
Yes.
I have done 82 plays. This was my 82nd play.
Yes.
And therefore, this was not, if I wanted to settle political scores with any other administration, I would have done so. But I have not been using the Kenya National Drama Festivals to settle any score. That is my profession. That is my passion.
Yes.
And I want to say categorical that if I want to advance my political agenda, I know where to advance my political agenda.
Why did they arrest you?
Yeah.
Why were you arrested?
I was arrested because they said that I was not supposed to be training young girls at the we call it the village where they were being hosted, and that I was not supposed to present them to on stage the following day. This was a deliberate move just to ensure that they frustrate the girls, and the play was not supposed to be showcased in its original form. That is why they even blocked the lorry carrying their stage properties at Salga. So it was deliberate. They wanted to be seen to be abiding by the court order, but the play was supposed not to be showcased in its original form. That's why even they blocked the audience. What kind of performance is this that you do not allow even the audience to watch?
And Malala, one would talk in terms of equality when it comes to even the presentation of these plays, because even the girls themselves, when they're giving their presentation, they said, we are not going to perform because, first of all, we do not have our trainer here, we do not have our stage properties, we do not have the audience which other students have been afforded to perform. And this goes to speak on equality and the Ministry of Education ensuring that which is under the curriculum gets to go across. Do you think the Ministry of Education is conducting an injustice to the students of this republic by denying Butere girls from performing?
I wouldn't want to apportion blame to the ministry officials. Those are innocent people implementing
An order? A wrongful order?
From above. And I want to say the person who was behind the frustrations of Butere girls is President William Ruto. Nobody else. And it is, and let nobody lie to you that the drama officials were against Butere girls. No. If the drama officials were against Butere girls, they wouldn't have been qualifying all the way from the sub-county to county to regionals.
Why would the president have an issue with a play that CLEOPHAS Malala wrote and that girls at Butere would perform? Why? Why would he involve himself with that?
He's boxing in the dark.
Why?
President William Ruto is a paranoid leader at the moment because he knows what he's doing, he knows what he has done, and he knows what he's planning to do. And therefore, he's just a paranoid leader. And we are saying that you saw the contradicting explanations from the drama teachers to the officials, to the government officials, to himself. You saw the response he gave, that he's trying to protect our children against pedophiles, against drug peddlers, against people who are teaching our children negative ethnicity. So if you correlate the statement the president was giving with the Butere girls, there is no relationship. because there was no pedophile case in that play. There was no drug peddler trying to, and therefore the president knew what he was doing, and he gave orders, and he wanted the orders to be implemented with impunity and without even following a logical structure. But that said and done, that is watered down the bridge. We are in court. The matter must be pursued to a logical end.
Yes.
But the life inside that play can never be killed. The echoes inside that play can never be silenced by anybody. And that is why we have said we are going to stage that play for the public. We are going to ensure that that play is stored and is inscribed in the history of this country.
So on the flip side, some may argue that you as Secretary General were not let go of. You failed. Okay? That's their argument. What would you say in answer to the origin of your departure between UDA and its leadership and where you are now? Because there are those who say that, you know how Rigiji alishindwa na kazi? You know how they say that. So, where is the point of departure?
My disagreements with the UDA party, and that is why I said after this session, I am going to give a statement, the statement of the year. And I wouldn't want to delve into that right now because I've got a comprehensive statement that I'm going to read as to why we departed with the UDA party. But just as a general comment, we differed with UDA because of ideological differences. We were no longer sharing the same ideologies. We were no longer sharing the same beliefs. When I got into UDA party and when I decided that I will be supporting William Ruto, we had shared aspirations. As a Secretary General, I was the custodian of the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. A very good document. And I was appointed into cabinet, the controversial appointment.
Yes, the secret, secret, not so secret cabinet member.
Yes, into cabinet. And my job description was very, very, very vivid, that I was supposed to monitor the implementation of the manifesto. Sadly to speak, I tried monitoring the manifesto. I even came up with an application, a phone application whereby the president, at the comfort of his office, at the comfort of his bed, at the comfort of in his vehicle, will be able to monitor the implementation of that manifesto. And we realized that that manifesto was not being implemented as planned. Only 8 or less than 8% of the manifesto was being implemented. As the Secretary General, when we advise, because I was, as Secretary General, you are in charge of the political vehicle of the president. So politically, you're supposed to be advising him. When you try advising him, he looks at you as his enemy. When you try bringing the truth on the table, for example, during the Gen Z demonstrations, we had already advised him. Rigathi Gachagua had advised him in public. I had advised him in private that, come on, this finance bill is not palatable to Kenyans, and therefore kindly try and shelve some things. They accused us of financing Gen Zs. And they accused us of being moles in government. We told them, no, come on, us, we listen to the ground. And when we advise you on things that are going to help you politically. He refused. When I personally advised him as the Secretary General that, come on, this regarding impeachment is not good for us politically. I had a position on that. I told him that this is going to ensure that we destabilize our government. This is going to ensure that our ship capsized. But the president was adamant. He looked at me now as his enemy. Those surrounding him now started looking at me as the enemy within the team. And therefore, they thought that I was an impediment because I was supposed now to sign the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. And in this way, first of all, it was they brought in a suggestion that UDA should have 2 deputy party leaders. So that when they remove Rigathi Gachagua, the other deputy party leader now automatically becomes the deputy president, because the constitution, the UDA constitution is very clear that the presidential candidate will be the party leader, and the deputy party leader will be the deputy president. And therefore they wanted to have 2 so that the transition will be smooth. I advised them against that. I told them that these will destabilize the party, and they were adamant. So the only thing was that Malala must go out.
Okay.
And that is why they kicked me out. I have no regrets. That was a blessing in disguise. And I took it with pride. And here I am.
CLEOPHAS Malalalah is our guest this hour. Of course, we've seen the happenings over the last couple of weeks in terms of what happened. But what Malala is telling us at this point is that this has nothing to do with a play. It has everything to do then with the position that you took politically, which maybe didn't go down well with many people. And you are putting this responsibility right at the foot of the president. You're not turning back from that, are you?
Oh, yes. William Ruto was behind the frustrations of Butere girls. That one, I'm very clear in my mind about it.
And it was not the play, but it was about Malala.
Oh, yes, because we had several other plays. Even other schools performed even more daring plays than Butere girls. And therefore, it was not about the Butere girls. It was about Malala. And that's the unfortunate bit about it. But as I said, that is water down the bridge. How I wish if they wanted to deal with CLEOPHAS Malala, they would have dealt with me directly as a politician and not as a drama director.
I think even let's just still stay there a little bit. And one of the issues that was raised by the ministry is the fact that you are not a teacher, and you, according to the laws, according to the procedure, you shouldn't have been part of that play. And even during that, because I've been part of this drama for a very long time, other teachers from outside are contracted to offer these services. So in terms of the procedure and the process, why are you supposed to be there?
First of all...
And are there others like you who are there and actually presented this plays?
Of course, that argument to me doesn't make any sense, because I have been doing these plays all along, since 2000. Up to date, I've been doing plays, and we have so many other people, young people who are contracted by schools, professionals, and even the spirit of the competency-based curriculum is that you can get professionals from outside to help you. When you look at Section 4 of the Education Act of 2013, it clearly says that schools can partner with professional bodies to enhance the education of the children. But be it as it may, the way you're trying to bring it out, the same drama rules say that you must be a TSC registered teacher or a lecturer of a post-secondary institution. You are my product. I was your lecturer.
So for purposes of disclaimer, for purposes of disclaimer, Dennis Aseto used to be your student.
Yes,
you taught.
I taught him radio production at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Therefore, I qualify then as a lecturer.
Yes,
I qualify to direct drama, and therefore, I think those were just reasons. They were trying to look for reasons to stop me from producing. But I want now to face them in the eye and ask them, can you stop me from producing now in public using adult cast?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So how do preachers preach in schools?
And can I ask you
Are
a
they also
question?
TSC certified?
Can I ask you a question? How do cooks cook in school?
And
Maybe you can also
watchmen
ask
watch.
me a question.
And
Maybe I can
watchmen
ask
watch.
you a question.
Yeah.
How do non-doctors hold brief over a health institution?
Do you have any other question?
How does an engineer? Anyway, let's continue.
You can ask as long as the day, as many hours as there are in the day.
Does the watchman watch because he's there's something in this country that I think we take so trivially, is that there are things we do that set precedents.
Yeah.
Okay? And the precedents you set is so important. Honestly, for me, what my concern is as a country, plays are hardly attended. It's a struggling art form outside of schools. We've got so many young people, and if you look at TikTok and their desire to express themselves and their desire to dance and things like that, it is such a big opportunity. Korea today, South Korea, K-pop,
K-drama.
and K-drama and K-pop are big because the government decided to put 1% of its budget on it. For me, and I always think towards solutions, to actually solve this, court cases are fine, but to actually solve this, I think the government needs to put budget, support systems for our children to actually be able to develop these talents and grow it. In fact, they should call it the Peace Between Malala and Government Act. So that now we are able to move forward. Because I don't think it helps us to remind ourselves of the pain if we're not going to solve the problem for our kids.
And I think even as we have that discussion still, you see, we talk about a curriculum that is called curriculum-based curriculum. Which the competence,
curriculum. That would have been fun.
Competency-based curriculum that speaks on the competency of students, which goes out to encourage the thespians to do good, the athletes to be out there. And if an institution does not have a professional who will bring out the best out of these children, then get the likes of Malala who will inculcate these talents to be the best they are. Because we're talking about the Lupita Nyong'os who started in school. Talk about Jugush, we were in the same school.
But that's the point.
You know what I mean?
That's the point. For us to move forward as a country, what has happened has happened. How do we heal?
This is the question, because there's still a dark shadow that's cast over the National Drama Festivals. We're looking at products that exist today because those festivals gave them a road in. How do we come back from that?
And let me tell you, as someone who went through Kenyan high school, it hurts because some of those drama clubs, the kids contribute. They deny themselves a loaf of bread, a soda, some tea to contribute to the club so that they can get the dresses, the skirts and whatever. And I am saying to the government, and I hope I can hear your voice on this, the government needs to do right. How do you do right? Undo what Butere girls went through. Sponsor these kids. Give them actual prizes that goes back to their schools to help them do drama even when drama festivals are not there.
Yes,
that's what we need to do. This country needs to heal.
So how do we do it?
And just to take you back on the issue of the implementation of the manifesto, the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, you saw them saying that they would want to monetize talent, but these are the same people who speak from both sides of their mouth. These are the same people who are cultivating the culture of lies in our country, because you stand on a presidential podium, promise that we are going this direction of monetizing talent, investing in talent, but your actions are the opposite. You remember the president, together with the person in charge of the creative economy in State House, and I don't know why the Office of the Creative, the advice of the creative economy is situated in State House. It should be situated in the Ministry of Youth. I don't know what that office is doing in State House. Now, you remember them saying that they have paid 500 million Kenya shillings to the Grammy Awards.
To see if they can have them.
And as we speak right now, drama festivals, those children participate all the way from the sub-county 3 months to the nationals, then the best actor is given like a small trophy. So, come on. And here you are donating 500 million shillings to Grammy Awards where no Kenyan participated. And therefore, these are misplaced priorities. And we must start now being sober and now addressing the real issues affecting the world of theatre. We have seen talent which has gone unappreciated in Kenya. We have seen people, superstars, living a horrible life in Kenya. And therefore, if we are serious about monetization of talent, we should start now seeing the government putting the right budget and the right budget towards elevating the current situation. We must now start seeing the government putting up the correct infrastructure. We have only one government theatre hall in Nairobi, which again is very expensive for the same artist.
Right.
Go to the Kenya National Theatre. You are asked to pay 120,000 shillings for a day. Surely. Which
Upcoming artists,
Yes.
how are they going to do this?
How are they? So the Kenya National Theatre has been relegated to a hall for corporates. It's only the corporates who can afford having events there.
So the thing about why they call some things a silver lining is that things happen and then it splits open the road essentially for opportunities to discuss certain issues, whereas they could be conversations that were being had. It opens up the floor for them to say then attention must be paid to some of these things. That if you do have a budding ground for Kenya's artists, such as the National Drama Festivals, and an incident like this then allows us to give attention to those things that are really important.
On the flip side, I would say that an incident synonymous to what happened to Butere girls, to me, scares off even potential partners. You know, government cannot do everything. We expect the private sector to partner with artists to help them come up, to invest in theatre. But when the potential investors encounter such incidences, then they are scared to even invest in that field. But I want to say that hope has not been lost. We still have leaders who believe that arts can be profitable to us, that arts can be a pillar to these young citizens of Kenya, and therefore asking those responsible at the moment to provide a conducive environment so that we can cultivate art in this country.
So, sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Sorry. You know, what you said is so critical, and it's funny. Because, you know, in this country, when you think of what we do for fun, tell me what it is that is not drinking. Watch a movie. And you have to wait for one Marvel movie you like, right? So once a year. Holiday, once a year. Exercise January when you pay the bill. All I'm saying is that the avenues for entertainment in this country are few.
Limited, yeah.
Okay? And for our young people, if you really ask them to go to the museum or to go on holiday, or even the money to go watch a movie, it's rare. The development of art and creating opportunities of keeping our young people occupied is actually the answer to the drug problem that was supposedly being fixed.
Yes. Unemployment.
Yes.
We have a youth who finish university, go home, they have got nothing to do. So how I wish the government took advantage of the creative space in the country. Look at the content on YouTube, on TikTok. We have a lot of content that is going untapped when it comes to monetization.
Yes.
And therefore, I would like to ask the people in charge of arts not to be myopic in their approach. The Butere Girls incident was quite myopic because they looked at the person behind it instead of now appreciating leaders like me. When they say that politicians are not allowed to do, I feel sad because they are supposed now to encourage leaders like me who have got passion in nurturing talent to continue helping these young talents and not to castigate me and victimize me.
Right.
So to me, I would want to say that that is water down the bridge, but to assure the young talents that the spirit in me can never be killed.
Do you think that there's freedom of speech and expression in Kenya?
To me, I want to say that, of course, the space is large. That's why I can even come and say here categorically that the president was behind this. But the space is limited depending on who is speaking. The place, it is. We have isolated cases whereby a certain freedom of expression is not supposed to be exercised. And gradually we are implementing our constitution, and I want to say that, of course, we've gained so much when you compare to the Moi era, to Moi, to Kibaki, to Uhuru, to now. We've tried to gain a lot of a space when it comes to freedom of expression, but this regime is trying to take us back.
Yeah,
that we are resisting, and that is why we are saying that we will not be an example of voices which were silenced.
Because you see, when you talk about freedom of speech in the country, the constitution is so clear that each and every Kenya has that right. It does not say, Malala, you can speak, but Butere girls should not speak. And if Butere girls want to speak through a play, let them do so. But there is a feeling as though when you speak against power that be, you are seen as though you are being disrespectful, and perhaps it's about time that we heal that. But as we speak about matters to do with the entertainment, one of the biggest things that America has managed to sell to the world is the entertainment factor. Everyone looks at America as the big superpower it is because of the military, simply because we watched their movies.
Yes.
And we continue to consume that through the Netflixes that do exist in this country today. How about we invest in our own entertainment sector so that we open these opportunities?
Just to piggyback on that, and maybe this, I think we're just about to get to the top of the hour. Do you think that Kenya has the ability to laugh at itself?
I can laugh at you.
No, it's an important question.
Yeah.
Because proper psychology allows you to look at your quirks and find them funny. And that's what art does. Right? And I'm thinking, forget about the government and everything. And I'm asking you, Bwana Malala, do you think Kenya can put a mirror in front of itself as a people and actually breathe, laugh, cry as we look at ourselves? Or are we as a society running away from the reality of who we are?
Kenyans, I think, are tolerant enough to look themselves in the mirror, laugh about it. We've had a very, very hard economic time in the recent past. And you've seen Kenyans joking about it on TikTok. You've seen comedians. But the leaders, the current leaders, and to be specific, the current president is not ready to look at himself in the mirror and be told the truth. That is why he's always very argumentative. He argues with everybody. He argues with his own ministers. He argues with the people. He argues with the Boda people. He argues with school children. He argues on everything. So Kenyans have got no problem. The problem at hand is the current leadership of the country, led by the president himself. Let him be tolerant enough to listen to advice. This is a person who advises his advisors on how to advise him. He doesn't listen to anybody. He doesn't listen. And then when he's pushed to the wall, he comes up with this normal question. Am I mad? Am I a madman? Am I a madman? You cannot be a president whereby you are arguing with yourself.
And is this why we're starting to see the slowing off of people, whether it's Malala, a few months ago, whether it's CSs, whether it's deputy presidents?
And you see, everybody is sliding off because of that level of intolerance, of that domineering character that he has on his subjects. And you will see even more people. And I can tell you that we have more people in this government who have already switched off, who are just there for purposes of being there, waiting for their time to go out. You will see more people. We talk to civil servants. They are demoralized because whatever advice they give is not being implemented. It's a one-man show. And therefore, I want to assure Kenyans that we are remaining with only 2 years. We are going to change the leadership of this country. We cannot accept this kind of trend to continue. A trend whereby it is a one-man show. A trend whereby they have turned Kenya into an entrepreneurship. All decisions are being made on the basis of who is gaining what. Government policies are being misinterpreted just for personal gains. Look at the e-citizen platform thing.
It'll be interesting to see
Look
how
at
things
the
unfold.
shift. Every policy, every decision, every development is being brought about because of personal gains. Recently, we were told that we were donated with fertilizer from Russia, from Algeria, from Morocco. And then somebody comes, says that I have subsidized fertilizer. How do you subsidize a gift? It's already a gift. Then how do you further subsidize a gift?
But you wrap it.
It'll be interesting to see, because you said there's a statement coming up after this, and we're watching to see what that is going to be. But then looking forward to, of course, look, at the end of the day, have these conversations. It's important to bring them out and to keep them front and center of discourse. We want to thank you for being here this morning, CLEOPHAS Malalaah. And folks are very interested in watching this play once the audition round has come to an end, and then you're going to put it out in the public for us to watch.
I will be doing that immediately after we close up our auditions. The auditions started yesterday, and the procedure is very, very, very simple. We have uploaded the script on the CLEO Malalaah TikTok platform. Go there, download the script. We have vividly described the biography of each and every character. Choose the character that you can play. Get an excerpt from the script. Get a friend or record a
short video.
Exactly, a short video, you enacting it, and upload it on TikTok. We are going to get talent from across Kenya, in the remotest village of this country,
to come and act.
If you are talented, you will be an actor, because this is now a Kenyan play.
All right.
It is no longer my play. It's now a Kenyan play. And it will be enacted with Kenyans.
In 3 seconds, you said there's a dossier you're releasing in a few minutes after this session.
Oh, yes.
What time is that?
Immediately. No sooner than
10:03.
Gafla bin vu.
Let's watch and see what that looks like. CLEOPHAS Malalaah, asante sana.
This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.